I'm not in the best of moods today right now because I had this whole little skit planned out, had all this red stuff that I thought I had but I really didn't. Ordered this YG merch not too long ago, probably about a year ago or something like that, and then I couldn't fit it. Yes, it was too big. My dumb ass decides to start working out and I got bigger. Now I can finally fit the shirt, but I can't fucking find it. Yes, it was a large. For all you idiots that are gonna say, oh, you can't fit a large, you can't fit a Magnum. Shut your bitch ass. I had all this shit planned. It was gonna be this perfect thing, this little intro, but now I'm feeling like nobody's gonna see this video, so I might as well once again go ahead and just off myself. This is the closest thing I've got to red in this house, so if this album is heat, we gonna pull it out the oven. See, because I got a mitt on, and it's red.
Brother, this guy stinks.
Yeah. So whatever. YG came out with a new project called 4REAL 4REAL. We got the Nipsey Hussle tribute on the front. I respect it. I think it's cool. I like that they were so close. Oh, I found a red cup, but it's dirty. Still, Brazy is easily my favorite YG project. Didn't hate Stay Dangerous. It just it does get a little bit of unnecessary hate in my opinion. It wasn't the best album to me, but I never thought it was like trash. The minute the album came out, people were like, oh, YG's done. The nigga's career is over. Stop it. Get some help. YG 4REAL 4REAL. The first track is I Don't Know because I didn't come into this video prepared at all. Hard bottoms and white socks.
Y'all know his name.
I don't.
He ain't done designer clothes, I'm the face of it. I told them hoes to get low, I'm the face of it. Ops, I'm the face of it. Hard bottoms, white. To the T. I represent this shit like I'm pop. They be like, how you figure that? I say I'm hot. I'm in this Lambo drop top. I turn a good girl to a
thought. Yes. So basically YG saying he's the king, the start of all that shit, which, you know, I can't really verify. I'm not from over there. But I do love the Nipsey tribute. I love how minimal instrumentally is happening with this track right now. I think YG sounds his best when he's like his most raw. And to me, that was most projects or most singles off of his Still Brazy project. But this one I really do like. It's a strong opener. It's simple. But I think that allows him to just do his thing and just rap. And I like hearing his voice. I like hearing him confident, hearing him flow. It worked. Track number 2 is Bottle Service. That bass is hard.
I'm that nigga, that motherfucking nigga. I'm that nigga, that motherfucking nigga. My bitch that dick. I'm that nigga. My bitch that bitch.
I thought you were gonna keep going.
I'm in a Ventador. This is not the Lambo truck. I the only one. Let my whole clique.
Get the Spanish women out for a second, all right? I need to hear YG's voice.
Nigga, I can't stand a broke bitch.
Yeah. This is it. Bitch, I'm Blade, cause I'm a blood, but I'm hot as Wesley Snipes. Oh my god.
The Glock, you can be the next 50 nigga, take these 9 shots.
Why are you talking about the Glock? I just put mine away. If that's not the hardest second verse of a second song to an album. Oh yeah, the energy on this album right now is exactly where it needs to be. I want the intensity to stay around this point. That track was hot. I love it. It does, like, the mix on it does sound a little loud, but it works, like, for his vibe, his aesthetic, and the braggadocio of this track. He packs enough intensity and enough, like, flows and, like, the momentum of this track. The keys just keep it going, like, consistently. Those little breaks of this chick just speaking in between, it just acts as good breaks just to give him another chance. But I think he's got, like, 3-4 verses in this song. It's not too long. The energy is there. I can see somebody getting tired of this track real quick, but honestly, I don't think I will. This is a great track. Next track is In the Duct. I'm so glad him and Mustard got back together, man. That warped ass 808.
I need my homies dark blue like the Yankees. Already know we know. My life dark. Her ass really shot me like Pikachu.
Why did I know Pikachu was coming? All right, In the Dark is a cool track. I don't really know how much I return to it. The bass, continuously, it's smooth. You know, I was likening it to that Meg Thee Stallion Sex Talk track that I heard not long ago. But I think here it doesn't sound as tart. It's a little bit smoother. A lot of refrains on this track, really simple, no real content, you know, more braggadocious bars and stuff like that, which I don't mind if it's going to be the theme or the focal point for this project. But yeah, I can see myself skipping this track. I don't need to have it. I've heard track number 4, Go Loko with Tyga and Jon Z, or I hope I'm saying that right. If I'm not, cool. Whatever. Yeah, I like that track. The simplicity of it was really like, it was really low tone, really simple. It felt really empty, lyrically absent for a little while, but honestly, I think it's kind of groovy. It grew on me a little bit. Oh, it's got these nice strings, kind of got a Latin feel. Stop Snitching is another track that I actually enjoy on this album. Heard it a couple weeks ago. Again, just simple, very repetitive, but the point is what the focal point of the track is. The point of the track is stop snitching, quit being a bitch. And even if you haven't heard the track and you don't know what he's talking about, just stop snitching, quit being a bitch. Next track, I Was on the Block. Oh yeah, man. A heavy ass bass.
I was right there when a homie got rich. I was blessed. Got a new bitch, my sidekick. She know I'm lit, she psychic. I got money now, so
she know I'm lit, she's psychic. I'm gonna need you to get out of position because I'm a little tired of this track already. What the fuck, man?
We've stricken, wish I seen different, but I couldn't, I didn't had it bad. Niggas tryna owe me rent for half a year. You tryna live on my dick, and if my opposite.
He could be talking about a woman, but he could also be talking about, you know, when somebody owes you money and they think dick riding you is gonna get the money like paid off. Like, nah, you about to die. Oh, that track was pretty awful. Actual shit. Bass is pretty ominous and pretty heavy, but the verses aren't. Like, the verses are so light and just like blah. I think for a track that talks about them both being on the block, or everybody being on the block, it'd be like a little bit more intense, a little bit more lyrically dense, but it's just not. It's pretty absent. So no real presence from either of them. Boogie gave me the best verse and the best flow. Track number 7 is Keyshia Had a Baby. It sounds like some shit on my head.
I know we all know a girl named Keyshia.
We don't.
Tell her cross her legs when she wore a skirt. Life goals to be a lawyer or a nurse. Grown up buns, hair raised sprung. Everybody knew she was the one. She ain't fuck, race somewhere, getting drunk, face on sad pup. I'm gone, he said we got a baby, where you gon' go? Keyshia had a baby.
The beat for this track is pretty generic. I like the vocals from Rose Gold. The track itself, you know, details the story of a young woman that's going and coming up in her environment, staying away from the bullshit, finally let somebody crack her cheeks. Ray was sprung, and yeah, she gets with a football star, you know, leaves the other guy, he's heartbroken, blah, blah, blah. She gets with this dude, he cheats on her, she leaves because she's strong and independent anyway. She leaves the money because she's got honor and shit like that. Cool. Doesn't really make for the best track though. I'm sure the women might love this track. You know, it's inspirational to a degree just to have your own and just mentally be above the bullshit and beyond it. But I mean, I'm not Keyshia. Track number 8 is Heart to Heart featuring Meek.
Secrets are safe. I had to tell my nigga sit up. The homie had his chin down. I told him put your chin up. Find some helping hands that's gonna contribute to your movement. Cause anything is possible. Just look at me, I proved it. Know your vision, never lose it.
I like this track.
This baby mama, the three-way me, call her phone. Cause I know the pain like in them chains all along. But ain't no money orders in the mail when you open it. My young boy was towing that Glock.
Yes. Yeah, I like this track. And I like how, like I said, so many different demographics and regions are working with each other collectively for tracks. You know, none of the, you know, regional bullshit that can keep artists separated or just, I mean, that's been gone for a long time. I'm just saying. Like, I'm just glad to see that it's no longer in existence, seeing Meek and YG work with one another. But this track, subject matter wise, it really does feel like a heart to heart. Not only him expressing a story that he had with one of his homies, but just kind of expressing it to the track and to the listeners, just like, all right, you know, some shit's gonna pop off eventually. Just do your thing, believe, keep your head high, and keep going, keep working. Eventually you will find favor, you'll come to a destination, you'll come to a crossroad, you'll come to something that's gonna make the decision obvious and clear for you to make, and then you're gonna come to a point where you're gonna have some assistance. Don't know in what form that assistance is going to come, but assistance will come. And Meek Mill had a good verse on here too. So instrumentally, again, it's very West Coast, very California hip-hop. Track number 9 is Play Too Much featuring Safe.
At me, feeling no special shit. We always talk about how these niggas...
Is this Tupac track that he's sampling?
Like some spiritual monopolists.
Because it sounds like it.
Good, so it's hurting it good. And I only found out cause hurting it good.
I play bitch, but I know bitch play me.
When I did last December, this ice cold like the winter, man, this shit give me the shivers. Just bitch.
I like that line right there. That whole December cold shivering line.
I drill this bitch, you know I run this town, bitch. So don't you come around, bitch.
This chick gave YG some serious trust issues. He already had them, but now it just made it worse as far as relationships are concerned. I like the way he explains himself. He seems pissed. He seems mad. He seems upset. I like the track, the instrumental. I think that's Tupac that they're sampling. The whole thing sounds pretty good to me. And that little whoo, like, I forgot who the feature was already. Safe. I like that already. I think it's a good track. And regionally, I think it'll go over better. But I do think it just has a natural tune to it. But again, I think I would attribute that to the Tupac sample. Yeah, this dude sounds pissed, and I like it. I like when people get, like, taken advantage of because it turns into great fuck you music. Track number 10, Do Not Disturb, featuring Kamaiyah and G-Eazy.
I don't know. Fuck all of that sweet shit. I used to go soft on the home. Bitch, only want promo. Fucked around, that's why I'm solo. Rocking that cheap shit. I used to go soft on the home. Now I'm hard. I got poppin'. Bitch, I got poppin'. And I got...
That's interesting, because Kamaiyah was one of my less favorite people on the... Kamaiyah was one of my last picks on the XXL 2017 freshman cover. And it's interesting and real cool to see her have her own voice and develop it for the intro of this track. I think she sounds great right now. She's killing it, and she's completely in the pocket, riding the beat well. I like it. I like how this track ties into the last one. Oh, that's a hard line. G-Eazy, you literally cannot fuck this up.
If it smell bad and my tongue's not in it, tequila cow, Jesse said, let's send it. She talks on my dick on my window.
I'm not gonna hate on him, all right? He was doing his thing for a little bit. He was riding the beat, and then he says that bullshit. If it stank, then my tongue's not in it. Fucking obviously. I would like to think that that's not where you want your tongue in the first place, so I don't even feel like I need to say it. If it smells, you need to say that you don't want to put your face down there. Hey man, but that track was a bop. If I just ignore that line from YG, then it's good. Kamaiyah did her thing. Really impressed with her on the hook for this track. Those are some really interesting strings. Next track is Do Your Dance featuring Kamaiyah, RJ, Mitch. I don't know the rest of these dudes.
About to go to church like Mace from the hood. I escape.
Like
Side my bed, the homie in the corner, that's my nigga. The other homie in the dance. Do your dance, shit, do your dance. I do
this don't sound bad, man.
So I hit that slide. To the left, to the right.
I thought that was Ty Dolla $ign. What the fuck, man? Y'all should have gave him this track by himself. Alright, YG on the hook does make the Do Your Dance part sound pretty good. I like this track for the dance aspect of it. It's supposed to be played at a function, at a get-together, at a kickback, something like that, something simple. I don't really think it's too intricate, nothing crazy. It's more normal West Coast production. I don't really know about that bridge from Kamaiyah, whatever that was, but other than that, pretty okay. I like the track. Ty Dolla $ign does the entire thing justice for me, though. He could literally have the track by himself and YG be on the hook, and I'd be completely fine with it. Track number 12, Her Story, featuring Sulan. The fucking... Sounds a little big to be a violin.
Something new.
Something's had a nigga thuggin' in the streets, 18, running plays, and B was not what she seemed. Always gleam, kept a smile on the face of things. Probably had some dreams, diminished by the fam, yelling probably all you'll ever be. Mama ain't had time for her, daddy never cared for her.
God!
Kill herself and shit, it didn't work.
I'm so glad it didn't work. We never got this track. That sounds a little big, like I said. It sounds like a bigger instrument than a violin. I might be wrong. I might just be cool with the violin, but it sounds a little bit bigger. I'm not sure. It sounds a little grand. I like this track though. Very emotional to me as far as how the instrument in the background kind of complements the aesthetic of what's supposed to be for the story of this track. Like, she's talking about her life, her come up, her upbringing, being put down by her family, but ultimately being the one that they can depend on later on. Talking about depression and suicidal thoughts and almost suicidal attempts. Stripping at a younger age, being put down when you're young, you're making questionable decisions, but you really have no one to lead you. All that being talked about in just 2 minutes. Like, Great verse. Great. Next track we have is My Last Words. Nipsey Hussle tribute.
He was like a real big brother to me. Like we always talking about goals, family, homies. He gave me books to read and shit like that. I'm like, damn, this nigga different, man. You know what I'm saying? I just want to let bro know. I want to congratulate bro for his legacy on behalf of the West Coast, on behalf of LA.
That's kind of nuts, man. I'm assuming that the album ends there. I know there's another track with DaBaby, so we're gonna listen to that. But like, that's crazy. Not really what he's saying, just the spoken word at the end, just to get on the stage, and I don't know if I think that's a rip from one of his live shows. Clearly, it just sucks, man. Just hearing the impact that somebody had, and then like the positive impact that somebody had, and then them taking like that is just crazy to me. You know, it happens too frequently, but it does happen. To make the kind of impact that, like, you know, you are influencing the opposition, your natural opposition in the culture or whatever, because, you know, I know people are going to be like, oh, well, when you get famous, you don't bang no more. That's not true all the time. But just to have that impact and that influence on people that, like, rep different sets and that are from different corners, from different street names. Like, I know it seems petty, but it means a lot, especially when that's all you have. And to have, like, that identity, that background that you come from abandoned because you're so, this person is just spitting nothing but like knowledge, and you can just tell that they care despite the fact, despite the gang affiliation, despite the background, despite the street name, despite the set, despite the gang, all that. It doesn't matter. Like, just the appreciation and the want to see you do better, just as another black person. I think that's sweet. I think that's beautiful. And we don't get too much of it, you know, especially in the rap game where everybody's trying to prove that they're so much better than the next man. So that's saddening, but it's also very inspirational. And just to hear that makes, you know, me happy, knowing that he had that influence and that impact on somebody, like I said, that reps a completely different gang. Last track is Stop Snitching featuring DaBaby. I'm assuming this is probably gonna be like a bonus track.
Oh, nigga, bitch, nigga.
You like to show these nigga guns, I beat him, took your pistol. I made me bacon with the eggs, thought she was cooking dinner.
Bitch, nigga, snitch, nigga, hoe, nigga, bitch.
You know, Baby's verse was cool. DaBaby. I'm not calling him Baby. That's crazy. But yeah, his verse was cool. It wasn't like crazy. I don't think it's necessary to the album or anything. It seems more like a bonus track. The album really ends at the Nipsey tribute, so that's where I'm gonna end it off at. But that track was cool, you know, nothing crazy about it. It keeps reminding me of that Schoolboy Q track, She Swallow All the Evidence, Her Boyfriend Never Knew. I forgot what track that was, but that shit was great. It was off Habits and Contradictions. But how am I feeling about YG's For Real, For Real? For Real, this is actually a pretty good tape. I like it way more than I like Stay Dangerous, because Stay Dangerous to me was just more of a project, and I'm going to say it about this one. This is a project that's just a little bit more simplified. It's a little bit more to the point. It's a little bit more straightforward. It's a little bit more honest. It seems it's a little bit more transparent. Doesn't really seem to be flooded with any kind of metaphors or any kind of prayers or any kind of message that's trying to get across in a really deep way. It seems like a very for real project. And I know it's very remedial just to say the name and just say, oh, well, that's what it means. But honestly, I think this track helps me kind of better understand YG's current, you know, situation, what he's dealing with. He expresses a lot when it comes to relationships on this project and the resentment that he has towards whoever it is that did him dirty, and why that kind of in some way skewed his perception of love, you know, while being a rapper. There's some other tracks on here that sound really good too, as far as that West Coast influence that you're just not gonna get from anywhere else. I love the ending of this album. The tribute to Nipsey is so heartfelt. It seems so real, so genuine. It's not like this script or this thing that's done, you know, I had all these notes written out for Nip. Like, he just was speaking from the heart at a live show, and I think it feels organic, it feels real, it feels natural. It just felt real to me, you know. I can internalize what he's saying, and that's a track that I might actually save, just because every now and again you might just need to hear it just to remind yourself that you need to be that person. You're not going to be a Nipsey Hussle, but you can be an example to someone. You can help them out, you can pull them up, you can show them a way if you know something, or be open if they know something, you know what I mean? So I really love the way that ended, that album. Other than that, though, there are a couple bangers on this album as well. You got the second track. I think the intro track, like I said, there's a lot of simplicity on this project. And just for YG, I just think that works. It makes him feel more raw, down to earth, in the grime. And there's a lot of female tracks on here as far as like referencing women. You got Keshia DaBaby, Play Too Much, and Do Not Disturb both go into the thoughts of betrayal in some kind of relationship, and then kind of just this continuous distrust in, you know, women while being in his position. I'm not really saying that he has anything against women, just I don't know how to deal with them because of my position right now, because I don't know what they're trying to get from me. Kamaiyah also says in a hook later on in another track, how, you know, this chick is pretty much doing it for exposure. She wants to be seen or attention. Yeah, man, I just think on this album there's just less film, and what that means, that little transparent piece of plastic that you pull off of something, I just think there's less of that here. On Stay Dangerous, I feel like it was just shrouded in this, you know, wannabe kind of idea that was kind of an idea that just didn't seem to hit all the way once you got down to the nitty gritty. Some of the music was just a little bit too, in my opinion, just a little overproduced, a little too much. Here it just sounds very raw, very out there, very open. It doesn't feel like he's hiding anything. It just feels like this is me, you know, this is YG. You get me and this is it, you know, and I like the way that comes across. It feels honest. It's a very honest album to me. A couple drawbacks on this project, I guess, would just be if you don't like, and I can speak for myself, I'm not always going to be trying to hear a whole album just full of West Coast. You know, obviously being from where I'm from, I'm used to music that kind of explores a little bit more. I don't want something that just seems like it's bound to the West, you know. Not to say that this is bad in any way, or it's like an album that you can't enjoy because of that nature. I just don't think that it rolls over well because most of this album is filled with those instrumentals. I think the chemistry that he has with Mustard on this album when he does show up on production makes some of the other tracks feel a little bit weaker, because those tracks that he's with Mustard, it's just the chemistry is just so clear. You can just tell that he's in his natural element, his natural habitat. Whereas some of the other tracks on this project that he isn't a part of, as far as, you know, DJ Mustard being on production, I feel like it's a little bit more apparent that he's just not in the zone as much. Like the beat was crafted more for him, including the features as opposed to just YG. There are some themes and concepts here that are explored, but not really any that like go anywhere. It would seem as though like some tracks he just has these thoughts or the subject matter that he wants to express or get off his chest, but nothing that leads into me thinking that this would be any kind of concept album. And that's pretty much how I feel about it, man. It's a pretty good listen, definitely better than Stay Dangerous in my opinion. Definitely a lot more raw, a lot more transparent, just a lot more down to earth in my opinion, not as shrouded in strategy. This one just seems a little bit more organic to me, and I like it for that reason alone. YG with For Real 4REAL. Thank you for watching. I will see you next time. Let me know what your favorite tracks are in the comment section down below, and I'm out. Stay real, for real.